Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a topic that's as deep as it is fascinating. How we construct our memories and narratives. You might think your memories are like video clips stored in your brain, just waiting to be replayed. But, spoiler alert, they're more like a Google Doc that you keep editing, and sometimes accidentally delete parts of. So, buckle up because we're about to take a trip through your mind, no GPS required. Let's start with the basics. Memory isn't a perfect recording of the past. It's more like a scrapbook that you keep adding to, photoshopping here, doodling there. Scientists tell us that memories are constructed, meaning they're built from bits and pieces of what actually happened, mixed with our emotions, beliefs, and even things we didn't consciously notice at the time. It's like your brain is a less reliable Pinterest board. And trust me, it makes some interesting choices. Every time you recall a memory, your brain isn't just pulling it off the shelf. It's actually reconstructing it. It's like that old game of telephone. By the time the memory gets back to you, it's been twisted, turned, and might even have a few extra flourishes added for dramatic effect. But here's where it gets really interesting. We don't just construct memories, we construct narratives. And those narratives shape our identity, who we think we are, what we believe about the world, and even how we see our future. It's like you're the star of your own movie, but you're also the screenwriter, director, and editor. And let's be honest, sometimes we all throw in a plot twist or two. These personal narratives give meaning to our experiences. Let's say you didn't get that promotion you were hoping for. One version of the narrative could be, I'm not good enough, and that might shape your identity as someone who's insecure at work. But what if you wrote a different story? Maybe it's, I'm destined for something even better. Same event, different story, completely different impact on how you see yourself. Now, these narratives don't just affect how we see ourselves, they also influence how we perceive our past, our present, and what's possible in our future. Ever notice how two people can go through the same event and have totally different takeaways? That's because their narratives are doing the heavy lifting, shaping their perceptions in real time. It's like putting on a pair of glasses. Depending on the lens, everything looks a little different. So when you look back on a challenging time in your life, you might see it as a failure or as a lesson that made you stronger. The choice of narrative changes everything. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure book, except instead of finding a buried treasure, you're finding a deeper understanding of yourself. Now let's talk about how these narratives play out in our relationships. Have you ever had an argument with someone and later when you're replaying it in your head, you suddenly become the hero of the story? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if the other person is doing the same thing? Now you've got two conflicting narratives, each person convinced they're right. It's like two directors fighting over creative control of the same movie. The truth? It's probably somewhere in the middle. Understanding that our memories and narratives are subjective can actually help us be more empathetic. When you realize that your version of the story isn't the only one, it's a lot easier to listen, to find common ground, and to rewrite that story together. And who knows, you might just turn that argument into a plot twist that brings you closer. So what does all this mean for you? Well, first off, it's a reminder that you have more control over your story than you might think. Sure, you can't change the past, but you can change how you interpret it. And by doing that, you can reshape how you see yourself and what you believe is possible in your life. That's some real-life magic right there. No wand required. Next time you find yourself replaying an old memory, take a step back and ask, is this really how it happened? Or is this just the story I've been telling myself? You might be surprised at how much power you have to rewrite the script. All right, folks, that's it for today's deep dive into the mind. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe share it with someone who could use a little narrative shift. And remember, you're the author of your own story. Make it a good one.